Welcome back to the University of Maine Dining Services video training series. In this video, we are going to go in depth about the jobs and duties that you will be asked to perform on a daily basis. At each of the 4 dining locations, there are multiple jobs you could be assigned to work each shift. We are going to talk about one of these positions for the next few minutes. The position we will be covering is beverage. There are differences in these positions depending on what building you're working in. For building-specific training, you will be taught by your team leaders and building managers. For this video, we will be working out of Hilltop. The beverage setup at Hilltop is comprised of the outside ring of the servery. Here's what it looks like. Milk and soy milk dispensers, specialty milk cooler which contains various types of non-dairy and specialty drinks, flavored soy milks and almond milks, as well as non-dairy and lactose-free drinks are available here. This is followed by the cereal area. This is the gluten-free area. While not specifically part of the beverage duties, you'll want to keep it neat and cleaned up. This is the Coke machines, followed by the Powerade and then iced tea machines. The iced tea machines also dispense filtered water for future reference. The tea selection is next, with a variety of bagged tea packets. Next we'll have the coffee condiments machine. First contains the sugar, Splenda, sweet and low, and a powdered creamer. The second contains the half and half and a low-fat milk. The hot cocoa machine comes next and is followed by the coffee brewing station. Continuing around to the other side of the servery, we continue with the juice machine, which has orange juice, cranberry juice, and apple juice concentrates. Lastly, we have a second set of soda and Powerade fountain machines. This completes the circle of the beverage area. Before starting any of the positions you are scheduled for, you need to get the proper uniform and wash your hands. The uniform consists of full-length pants, solid-toe shoes, and a chef coat, which we will provide. Check with your team leader for the location of the coats in your building. Now let's get those hands washed. Holding your hands under warm, running water, apply soap and work into a full lather. Wash the tops and bottoms of your hands, between your fingers, and around and beneath your fingernails. Count for 15 to 20 seconds as you wash. Rinse your hands thoroughly and dry with a paper towel. We also have sanitizer stations around our facilities. To clean your hands with the sanitizer, squeeze a small amount into your palm. Rub your hands as if washing underwater. Cover every area of your hands, fingers, and fingernails up to your wrists. Continue to rub until your hands are dry. We will start out by looking at the beverage duties with the milk dispenser. To determine the amount of milk in this machine, it needs to be opened and looked at. The latch for the machine is on the left-hand side of the cabinet. Upon opening the machine, take a look at the lower part of the bag where the pour spout is located. This will show the amount of milk left in the bag. When empty, pull up and forward on the guard and lower it down. While pinching the pour tube, lift the handle on the milk dispenser and remove the tube from the dispenser hole. Being careful not to spill any remaining milk, remove the box from the machine and rotate the hose to the top. Replace the guard and close the machine back up so the remaining flavors are available to the customer. Dispose of the box and bag in the single-sort recycling dumpster. The new bags of milk are stored in different locations in each building. Check with your team leaders for your specific location. Once you have acquired a new bag, find the opening on the box and punch out the removable area where the pour tube is located. Situate the tube in the correct location in the opening by carefully moving it inside the box. Be careful here, as the pull tube can be easily separated from the bag, causing the contents of the bag to flow freely from the box. Remove the plastic coating from the pour tube, again being careful not to pull the tube from the bag. Open the machine, lower the guard, and place the new box into the machine with the tube facing down. Insert the tube into the pour slot by lifting up the dispenser handle and inserting it into the hole. Replace the guard, then close the door and latch it. Use a clean pair of scissors to cut the end of the pour tube about an inch below the machine opening. The milk in the tube will leak a bit when you cut it. This is normal. Once the bag is changed, and throughout the shift, take the time to clean the area around the machine and be sure it is free from spills. Be aware of the drip bowls located at the front of the machine and clean or change them as needed. The silk machine located next to the milk dispenser is handled in the same way as the milk machine. The silk product comes in bags located in boxes and it is filled in the same manner as the machine we just looked at. Again, check with your team leader for the location of the silk milk in your building. Next, we'll take a look at the cereal area. The back stock of cereal here is kept under the counter where the dispensers are located. This will not be the case in all buildings. Ask about the location in your building. We carry a varied selection of cereals, both sweet and not sweet. One thing to keep in mind here are the cereal labels. We carry both Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios and must be careful to use the correct one and the correct container due to people's allergic reactions to nuts. Filling the containers is a simple process. Get the correct bag of cereal from the storage location. Remove the top of the container you are to fill and empty the bag into the container. If you are unable to use the entire contents of the bag, reclose the bag and store it where you got it from. During the duration of your shift, make sure this area stays clean. Check back often as the dispensers tend to pour cereal fast and make a mess. Keep this cleaned up by dumping the overflow trays often. Make sure to keep the supply of bowls here stocked during your shift. As we work our way around the circle, we come to the soda fountains next. There is a blinking red light on the front of the machine. This indicates the ice in the machine is low or empty. We will need to refill the ice before we go any further. The ice making equipment is located in different places in each building, and the equipment is a bit different. Check with your team lead for the location and procedure to get ice. Now that you have your ice, grab a step stool and get up to the top of the machine. Remove the top and check the level of the ice in the machine before adding any to it. Add the ice to the top of the machine by dumping it into the open hopper at the top. Be aware that the ice buckets have drain holes in them and leak a bit of water while you're dumping them. Once you have filled the ice, make sure to clean up any ice and water that you spilled on the counter and the floor. Make sure to also clean up any that you spilled near the ice making equipment as well. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the bags of syrup that are used to make the fountain soda. The bags are stored in different locations in each building. This is what the storage and pump location looks like at Hilltop. Notice the bag that is outside of the box here. Make sure to never leave them like this. This bag could easily be broken up by someone moving around in this busy area. If this happens, it's very messy to clean up. Let's go ahead and push it back into the box. Notice that the lines running to the bags are labeled. Make sure to take note of these labels when swapping out the bags. Here we have found a bag that is empty. Pull the bag out of the box and twist off the red connector. There may be a bit of syrup left in this that drips out. This is normal. Remove the box from the rack, leaving behind the hose and connector. Find the needed box of syrup in the storage location and bring it to the pump rack. Remove the cardboard from the box in the area of the spout, and pull the spout into the now open box. Unscrew the cap from the spout and place the box right side up into the pump rack. Screw the red connector back onto the spout, making sure to double check that the box is the correct syrup for the label on the hose. There will be some popping noises from the pump as it primes the lines. This is normal. Clean up any messes that you made in the area. Now that we've looked at making sure the fountain machines are stocked, let's look at the procedure for cleaning them. This is done several times a day, typically at the end of each shift. Start by removing the black plastic nozzles from the front of the machine. Twist it sideways, then pull it down to remove it. Under this is a white flow valve. Remove it by pulling straight down. This is what they look like. Continue removing all the nozzles from the fountain machines and place them in a bucket of sanitizer solution to soak as you're cleaning the rest of the machine. Remove the face panels from the machine as shown and wipe down all of the components of the machine with sanitizer solution. Take the panels, as well as the grates from the drains, to the dish machine and run them through. After you've wiped down all the surfaces, replace the parts of the machine. Don't forget the nozzles that have been soaking in the bucket. The iced tea machine, located here, is similar to the fountain machines in both cleaning and refilling. As we move on to the juice machine, we'll see the refill light is on and the window states Change Package. Let's go ahead and do just that. Turn the key located on the right side of the machine to the last position. This will unlock the doors. Push in and hold the pound sign on the front of the door. The machine should click and the door should release. Lift the door up to get access to the juice containers. Grasp the empty container near the top and pop the valve up from the container. Pull the empty container out and put it to the side. Peel the cap from the opening of the new container and slide it into the machine. Push the valve down into the opening on the new container. It should snap into place. Close the door and make sure it locks into place. With the key still in the flush position, we'll place a cup under the juice we just changed. Notice the change package light is still on. We need to flush the air out of the lines. Push and hold the star button until the juice concentrate runs solid with no air bubbles. Once the air is out of the lines, the light will go out and the key can be turned to the on position. Let's take a look at cleaning this machine while we're here. Remove the drip tray and the front panel and take them to the dish room. These can be run through the dish machine. Turn the key to flush and open the front door. This will allow us to remove the juice containers one at a time. We're going to flush the lines of the machine with hot water. Locate the container that is used to flush the machine. Here, it's housed in the cabinet under the machine. Fill it with hot water and place it in the machine in place of the juice container. Make sure to use a container under the nozzle to catch the water from the rinse. Close the door, then press and hold the star button. This will pull hot water through the lines and flush out the old juice. Run the water this way until it looks clear. Remove the container of water and replace the juice container. We will bleed it and refill the lines just as we would when swapping out the juice containers. Continue this process for all the juices in the machine. The next stop on the way around is the coffee area. This area consists of the sugar dispenser, half and half dispenser, hot chocolate machine, and coffee maker. You will want to open these up and take a look at the level of each at the start of your shift and monitor them accordingly. Also located here is a selection of hot tea bags. Make sure there's always an assortment of flavors available. Let's look at the machines one at a time, starting with the sugar dispenser. This dispenses Sweet and Low, Splenda, and equal sweeteners, as well as sugar. One push of the button is roughly equal to 1 packet of sweetener. To refill this machine, simply open the front door and remove the container that needs to be filled. Remove the top from the container and fill with the appropriate sweetener. The location of the stock you need for this area is different in each building. Here, it's located in the cabinet under the machine. Replace the container back in the machine and clean up any spills that may have happened. As with the cereal, if you do not need the entire bag of sweetener, close the bag and store it with the rest of the stock. The creamer machine opens upward as shown here. Once it is open, remove the cover from the container and fill with either half and half or low-fat milk as needed. Replace the cover and close the machine, making sure to relatch the sides. The cleaning process for this machine is a bit complicated. Let's go ahead and run through it while we're here. Open the machine as we did when filling it. Carefully remove one entire container unit from the machine by sliding it forward. Remove the cover and pour the contents of the container into a temporary storage container. Make sure to keep track of where you put the creamer and where you put the half and half for refilling them later. Once the container is empty, push in the dispense button and remove the container by lifting it up and away from the base. Pull off the rubber spout on the bottom of the container and dispose of it. We will be replacing this with a new one. Ask your team leader where these are located. Take the base unit and again push in the dispense button. Lift the metal plate up and out of the unit. Slide the dispense button out of the unit, being careful not to lose the spring. Remove the spring and set it aside. Repeat the steps for the other container unit. Remove the base plate from the machine. Once all the pieces are removed, take them to the dish room to be run through the machine. Place all the pieces into the plastic tray and run them through the machine together so as not to lose any pieces. While you're waiting for the parts to get clean, take the time to wipe down the outside as well as the inside of the machine. Grab any creamer or milk that you will need to fill the machine back up. Once you have all the parts back, reinstall them into the machine, starting with the base plate. Reinstall the base unit by placing the spring into the dispenser button and sliding it into the base unit. Make sure the unit is positioned as it is in this video, with the two stabilizers facing up and the writing on the button right side up. Push in on the dispense button and slide the metal base into the assembly as shown here. The assembly is then slid into the machine. Follow the same steps for the unit on the other side. Slide a new dispenser tube onto the bottom of the container, making sure it is pushed all the way up to the bottom of the dispenser. Push in on the dispenser button and set the container in place, making sure that the tube is lined up with the dispenser hole. Do the same for the other unit. Replace the drip tray under the tubes. Make sure to fill the correct side with the correct liquid. Refill the containers. Top off both sides with the appropriate liquid to fill them. Replace the tops to the containers and close and latch the machine. Next is the hot cocoa machine. This is restocked in the same way as the sugar dispenser. Simply open the door, remove a container, and refill it. Once refilled, place it back into the machine and close the door. This machine, however, is a bit more complicated when it comes to cleaning. Let's take a look at how to do it. With the door open, remove the drip tray and the guide plate, located near the nozzles. These two trays can be taken to the dish machine, but the rest of the parts will be washed by hand. Remove the nozzles at the bottom, turn the nozzles on the containers up, then remove the ring around the flow tube. Remove the funnel next by pulling and twisting until it comes loose. Next, turn the flow tube clockwise and pull it towards you to remove it. Do this for all the flavors in the machine. Place the parts in a bucket of sanitizer after you remove them. These parts must be washed by hand and need to be left out to air dry. Because of this, you will only want to clean the machine at the end of the day, as it will not be usable until it dries completely. After removal of the parts, make sure to wipe down all the surfaces of the machine with sanitizer, and clean up any spills you may have made. Once the parts are clean and fully dry, reinstall them in the same way that you removed them. The coffee maker comes next. Making coffee will be one of the most common things you do during your shift. Depending on the shift, it may be all you can do just to keep up with the demand for hot coffee. Making coffee is a simple procedure. Let's look at how we go about it. The first thing you will do upon finding you need coffee is clean out the old coffee from the pot. Take it to the kitchen, dump out any remainder, and rinse it out thoroughly. Once clean, remove the cover off the top of the pot and place the pot under the machine. Remove the filter basket from the top of the machine by pulling it towards you. Place the filter in the bottom of the basket, making sure to put the filter under the metal half rings. These will help keep the filter in place during brewing. Depending on the building, a full pot of coffee will require 3 2.5-ounce bags of coffee or 2 grinds. To make a half pot, use 1.5 bags or 1 grind. Once the coffee is in the basket, slide it back into the machine, making sure it slides in all the way. Check to make sure the selector is on the size pot you're trying to brew. This one is set at a full pot. Pull down the brew lever until it stops, then let it go. At this point, the coffee will brew on its own. This gives you time to go and restock the hot and cold cups as needed. Check on the coffee often to make sure there are no overbrewing issues and to see when the coffee has finished brewing. Once it's done, place the cover back on and set it into its proper display location. This finishes our walkthrough of the beverage position. Make sure to always keep busy during your shift by wiping down all of the counters and keeping an eye out for restocking that needs to be done. Try to keep an eye on those around you as well, and give them a hand, as they may need your help from time to time. Thanks for taking the time to watch this training video, and thank you to all of those involved in its creation.